to a special episode of Epic Gen Table Talk. Today, we'll be taking you through a one-of-a-kind art exhibit filled with sparkle, elegance, and intricate detail. But beyond every piece has a powerful story. We're here with some of the original Epic Generation hosts, my original, the first crew. And we started our journey when we were around 10, 11, 12 years old. And one of our biggest highlights was seeing the Giga Pearl back in 2020, the largest natural pearl in the world, right before the pandemic. Isn't that crazy, guys? It's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
I know. And it's crazy how we haven't seen each other in so long.
I know.
And it's kind of like a big reunion now, with the Giga Pearl has brought us back. Yeah.
It is a treat to be with the owner of the largest pearl in the world, Mr. Abraham Reyes.
Now, what was one thing or one memory that you guys remember the most from back in 2020 at the Giga Pearl?
Well, I remember seeing a lot of kids crowding around the Giga Pearl, and I think I was just so shocked at how big that pearl was. I couldn't believe it was real.
I know. Yeah. I remember it being bigger than my head, and I was I couldn't comprehend that. I was wait, what?
It was almost like I was one of those curious kids looking at it for the first time, because first of all, I didn't really know what a pearl was to begin with, right? And then just seeing one that large, it just it was captivating. I don't know what to say. It was just it was amazing.
Yeah, I remember. I don't think you were there at the time, but it was the three of us. You were definitely there around the area, but you weren't there touching the pearl at the same time. The three of us. I think there's a video too of the three of us just touching the pearl.
Oh, and a photo of it. I remember there's a photo.
It was a video, and there's the video we weren't saying anything. We were just in such awe, just staring at the pearl. I also remember filming there. I remember I was sitting kind of further in the back, and I was I want to be closer to the front. It was so interesting. And the octopus that was holding it.
Yeah, and it
gold.
was gold.
Yeah.
I think that was so cool just seeing it. It's just you have two precious things there. You have the pearl, and then you have the gold octopus, and they're both ginormous. And it's oh my gosh, you feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah, the mere thought of having so much value in front of you right there in the Toronto Convention Center, among all places, it was crazy.
It was definitely different. It was in between two fancy cars, and then there was just this pearl being held by an.
Probably worth more than both of those cars combined if you think about it, right?
You know, I remember meeting Abraham Vince 5 years ago at the auto show, and I think what I remember about him is his very happy, jolly personality while he was explaining about his artwork, the Giga Pearl, and I remember him just coming in that awesome blue suit. It was just so memorable.
Passionate, definitely, because he was explaining to us how the pearl forms and its value, where it was found, and obviously at the time, we were all a lot younger, so it didn't really mean much to us now. But then, interestingly, a year later, because the pandemic started in 2021, I read that the Giga Pearl, is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records, and I'm wait a second, I've seen this in real life, and that was really cool.
There it is, right there. I remember when I got this, when I had this book, and it's been sitting in my house, and just to think that I know somebody in the book, I know what's in that book, I saw that in person. I feel not many people can say that.
Yeah.
So we're special. And then we've got a signature here.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so cute. Yeah.
It's crazy because that was 5 years ago when we were all at the Metro Toronto Convention Center with the Giga Pearl right in front of us, and 5 years later, we are in this wonderful art gallery.
Wow, I can't wait to see what happens next, because now we're all surrounded by this wonderful, interactive, immersive art and ready to see behind the scenes.
Just by coming in and seeing all these beautiful and unique pieces, I can't wait to learn more about it and the person behind it.
Well, let's do exactly that, and let's explore the Beneath the Surface art exhibit. We're here with Abraham Reyes. It's so great to see you again after all these years. It's like a full circle moment.
Likewise. It's good to see you both.
Yeah, we're so excited to be back. So let's start with our first interview question. What inspired Beneath the Surface, and what is the story behind it?
So there actually is 4 factors that inspired me to create Beneath the Surface, this whole collection. So the first one is personal identity. I had to explore within myself to see, that topic that I want to share with everybody. Next is cultural pride, because we have a rich culture, the Filipino culture, and that's who I am, and I wanted to bring that out. And the third is about education. I wanted to educate the viewers, the collectors, whoever may own it later on, or even the public, about the rarity and our culture within it. So there's a lot of education within the art pieces. And the fourth is connecting rarity with value, like what is truly rare. Like, growing up, reading magazines, there's a lot of influences of what is teaching us what is rare. But with this, you will see what truly is rare.
Just looking around the exhibit, I can totally see all the inspiration you have put into it. But how long did it take for you to put this whole exhibit together?
Gosh, it took, since I saw you guys 5 years ago, actually, that's when it started. Actually, you guys remember this?
Yeah.
You guys created this
yeah.
artwork. It's one of my inspiration as well, because you guys, it was very heartwarming. So it took about like 700 to 800 hours.
700 to 800 hours?
That's about like, I would say 8 months to a year.
For one piece, or?
For one piece.
Oh, wow.
But sometimes, of course, I would do simultaneous, right? So while one thing is drying, I'm working on the other.
Yeah, it's like really amazing, like how much time and effort you put into each piece, and like every single detail, every single jewel that is placed. I think that's so interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, you have to put a lot of effort. You have to really be meticulous, especially if it's something that you value, right? So this is an expression of myself. As I said before to my previous interviews, that art to me is part of your soul.
Out of all the beautiful pieces here, do you have a favorite one and one that is the most meaningful to you?
That's a very good question, and that's a difficult question because all of them are very meaningful to me. Each one was created through a different timeline in this past 5 years, or different experiences during that time. But what I would say that spoke to me the most is the series with Belief, because it has an extension, a very strong extension of our culture and of our past, our history, and our spirituality.
I think in a way, like all these art pieces is like a journey of your life, and like each like different section is kind of like a different like phase you went through, and I think that's beautiful.
That's a great way to look at it.
We hear you brought the Giga Pearl back on opening night. Now, how did that feel compared to having the Giga Pearl 5 years ago?
Oh my goodness, it was overwhelming. It felt great because I enjoy sharing it with others. I enjoy teaching people about the Giga Pearl, about that type of rarity. So it was an incredible evening.
And before we wrap up, would you say that this whole exhibit is a dream come true? And for the young people who are passionate about art, what advice do you have for them?
Yes, definitely it was a dream come true. But there was a lot of hard work that went into it. But it pays off because I get to share it with everybody, like you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So my advice would be, art comes from the soul. So look for something or topic that you're passionate about and express it. Because to me, great art comes from the soul. So find what you're passionate about and express it. Because art that is authentic moves people.
Thank you for sharing. It's really inspiring to hear that like where your heart is where the art is. And I'm excited to get up close and personal and take a look at this beautiful artwork.
So welcome to Beneath the Surface, Abraham Reyes, very talented. As you know, Abraham is a collector and an artist. collector of Asian antiquities. He's got thousands of those, including pearls and gems. So really what Beneath the Surface explores is the mysteries that lie beneath the water and the natural and precious items that lie beneath the land and the water. So that's why we called it Beneath the Surface, because it's beneath the water, beneath the land. But really what it is, it's an exploration and a celebration of his cultural identity. It's a tribute to the Philippines, exploring the natural beauty and just the beautiful culture of the Philippines. It's a love letter to the Philippines, basically. The series here along this wall is called Rare Treasures. And really what this does is it explores the archipelago of the Philippines. This piece here, it's called Eruption. What's beautiful about these pieces on this wall here, they all have 100 natural wild pearls per piece. So if you can imagine the rarity of that, one in every, I'd say 20,000 mollusks will have a pearl in it, and they're found by chance. So when we were talking about rarity earlier, this is an extremely rare piece because of the pearls, because they're found in the wild. So if we come in close, maybe use your flashlights. There's rubies in this piece. You'll see all the natural pearls. They're Baroque in shape, which means they're not perfectly round. They all have their own kind of characteristics and beauty to them.
They're all really symmetrical, but then there's like kind of like a crack, like a thicker piece here.
Great observation. So his intention behind, and you'll see like smaller ones as well, right? These are veins or roots that connects all the elements together. So that was really what he was expressing through all those lines.
The surprise with this is these pearls are the same as the Giga Pearl. They come from the same species, from the giant clam, and this is how they look when they're young and they're small.
What I love about this piece is you can really see the rubies popping out of this piece, right? So different colors, different things come forward. Again, with the veins that connect everything.
So as you see from the previous piece, there's multicolored tourmalines on it. It's hard to see, but when you look closely, you'll see different colors. So that's when like the earth is like shifting all the elements, right? Just like in science. And when the lava dries, becomes the ashes, right? And from the ashes, do you see green? I'm using emeralds. There's a little, it's hard to see, but that's an aquamarine. It's like a bluish to represent water, because there's a stage that happens, right, in creation. So these would potentially, from ash becomes life, because the land becomes fertile.
Yeah. But what's really interesting too is he uses rough gems. So when we think of gems, we think of perfect, polished, shiny gems. He's using rough emeralds and rough rubies right from the earth. So what that says is he's got a deep appreciation for gems in all their formats. And it's all natural beauty. So this piece is called Alliance. It's a very significant piece. Believe it or not, these are all natural wasps. These are real preserved wasps. This is the largest wasp species in the world. They're queen wasps, so they're female wasps, and endemic to the Philippines and Indonesia. What this piece represents and what I love about it is it represents female empowerment. These are all queens coming together, supporting each other, raising each other up, literally through the balls, through these hives. This queen here is adorned with 32 carats of rubies. So that's quite significant in itself. And he's even gone and made a piece of jewelry out of, in the shape of a wasp. This piece is called Forbidden. This is probably the most significant piece in the whole gallery. In the fact alone that it uses just under 6,000 carats of rubies and gems. So this is packed with very precious materials. It's also very different from the Rare Treasure series. This has more of an aggressive tone to it. What it's supposed to show is, temptation and the dangers of temptation. So these are all, there's 100 apples on this that have these spikes on them and kind of prickly apples. Too much temptation is dangerous. That's really the theme here. If you go close, he's used rough rubies in this as well. So You can see all these things. These are rough rubies, and I had never seen these before this piece.
That's how they come in
That's how
nature.
they come out of the earth. This one is a very significant piece. In the middle of this is a pearl, so that's like a little mini Giga Pearl. What's so interesting about this piece is this is where we get in exploring the colonization of the Philippines, the Spanish colonization. So what he's done here is that form is a Sacred Heart, and that represents Christianity and Catholicism. So that's a very kind of traditional symbol. What he's done that's different though, he's taken an indigenous sword and pierced the Sacred Heart. So this is called a Chris sword, indigenous to the Philippines. So it's kind of a question of the effects of colonization. It's not saying that it's good or bad, it's questioning the effects.
When you asked me earlier regarding what's the most important piece to me, I would say this was one of it.
Yeah.
Because it has all of our entire culture in one, our belief and also our past history, the colonization. You see all the precious items, the precious metals, you see gold, you see rubies, you see pearls. To me, that was a symbolism of what the colonizer took from us, right? But what did they give? They gave us religion. They gave us our Catholic nature, right? And that's also valuable to us as Filipino.
Come in close and take a look at all. Use your flashlights. They're tiny little rubies, tiny little pearls.
And diamonds.
Yeah, so these are crushed diamonds, believe it or not. So he's using gems in a very different way. Not a lot of people would be as bold to crush diamonds, right? And he's done that. So very unconventional use of these materials.
Is the metal pieces like this supposed to look like the sun on the flag?
Yeah, it's inspired by the Sacred Heart, right? So in every single church that we go to in the Philippines, there's different symbols of these Sacred Hearts, right? So growing up, I see them a lot. So it inspired me to create that as part of the meaning.
That's so interesting, like how much depth it has. Because like at first glance, you're like, oh, it's really beautiful, but then you realize like this is filled with so much culture and heritage.
And that's why it's good to have it explained and really understand it and take time to ask questions as well, right? And that's what you should do for all art, is explore it and ask those questions. So these are natural wild pearls in their shell. So he's probably the only one in the world that has a collection like this of pearls in their shell. And these are wild pearls, so the rarity of these is significant.
And this is how the Giga Pearl grew. If you guys remember how big it was, you could imagine the size. So the very first largest pearl documented that we know of online is called the Pearl of Allah or the Pearl of Lao Tzu, whichever one of the two names. And if you guys remember, it looked like a brain, right? So, or a face that's kind of like brain-like. And this one represents that has that texture. But each one you see is a different formation of the pearl.
Last but not least, very similar to the red piece, right? And it's kind of a combination of the red piece and the Sacred Hearts with the swords going through, except these are nails. So like forbidden fruit, dangers of temptation, the play of good and bad, there's kind of a religious undertone with the nail going through it. So very complex and very interesting.
It's alluring, right? So every single one, it's calling out a collector or the audience, like which one tempts you the most?
I mentioned he's a collector, right? So this is an example of an item he would collect. It's a Sung Dynasty vase, very old, from 1960 to 1270. So
that's 1,000 years old.
But what he's done again, that's very bold, as you said, is he's taken something like this and created art out of it. So a lot of collectors would gasp if they saw this because he's touching a really old, precious item, but in his mind, he's giving it new life almost and kind of adding respect to it by adorning it with all these precious materials. So it's a very artistic and a very bold take on taking an already precious item and making it even better in his eyes.
It becomes my canvas It was lost at sea once with a different purpose. Waited 1,000 years to be reused again. And you know, these were some of the earliest vessels that the Filipinos would use to keep spices when they do trade with all of the neighboring countries in Asia. Yeah, so now it has a new life.
When you think about how many hands have touched this and found meaning and purpose with this, and now it's in someone else's hands and they've made their own use of it, and I think that's really cool.
When it comes to like the process of creating this, does it just come to your mind of what you want to do with it?
It comes from within, comes from your soul. It came from all my experiences, all my travels, right? And having all of this on hand, it makes you question like, what did I want it to do? Did I want to keep it as is, or did I want to share it and create something to it? And one of my values is I wanted to share, right? To share it in a way that, you know, people could understand, people could learn. And I think they'll take home something more valuable that way. Okay, so there's more beneath the surface because I wanted my art to be interactive, that it's giving you beauty no matter day or at night.
I just love doing this. Yeah, we say there's mysteries beneath the surface, right? So here's one of them. So this is called phosphorescence. And what's so incredible about this is these lines absorb light. So when you're shining this UV light on it and you take it away,
it stays. So it's like if a collector have this in their house and it's by a window and it absorbs sun the whole day, at night when the lights go off, 12 hours it'll stay like this till sunrise.
So it almost looks like an entirely different piece, doesn't it? Isn't that incredible? When I first saw this next one, I got chills. Look at this.
So you could imagine all of them, we had this kind of UV, all of them will glow.
What's amazing is if you didn't know this existed, you just wouldn't know, right? Yeah. It truly is kind of a secret or a mystery.
Thanks for joining us for this special episode. We hope that your eyes were not only dazzled by the art, but you also felt something in your heart. Because when you look beyond the surface, there's always more to discover. See you next time on Epic Gen Table Talk!